Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show, audience. Oh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here, and we have yet another amazing guest that I would love for you to know. She has a catering business. What else? She is an author. A book that's about to be released called "It Was God's Plan All Along," and she's. And she's also a registered practical nurse, and she's got a mobile diabetic foot care service. She does it all. Please welcome Margarita Phipps to the show.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. And you look lovely.
Thank you.
You're even prettier in life, in real person. So I wanted to just say that we have someone that we care about mutually, someone who came on the show a few years ago, and that was your daughter, Natalie Phipps. And how is she doing?
She's doing okay.
Yeah.
She did say Happy Easter to me.
And then you have your
She's
son
doing
here
okay,
as
and
well.
my son is here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey to becoming so multifaceted.
Now that you point that out.
You can put the mic up a little.
Okay, so how I became a nurse first, is that what you
Sure,
asked?
yeah.
It was funny. My mom has 8 children. And she wanted to be a nurse herself, and I think she started it many, many years ago. And somehow she didn't finish, and she was now looking to her children.
To carry on the torch.
And I was the first one to say, don't look at me, forget it. And so I noticed none of my sisters were, bulging, so I said, let me give it a try. So I took the pre-health course at George Brown, and life happened, and I had to drop out and look after the children. Now, they're now adults.
Mm-hmm.
And
how many children do you have?
4.
Just 4. Okay.
And so, grandchildren too. And so I just dropped out for a while and was home attending to my children. And I was going through some counseling with the late Pastor Mitchell. I think I could say his name. And he looked at me one day when he visited, and he said, my wife and daughter was taking the course, and now they're a nurse. His wife was an RN, and his daughter was finishing up the RPN course. And he said, would you like to go and try it out? And I said, why not? So it was at Central Tech. So I happened to call. There's a little story. Do we have time?
Oh, we've got time.
I called right after he left my home. I called Central Tech, and I said, I'm interested in the nursing program, the RPN program. So they said, well, what's your name? And I said, Margarita Phipps. And she said to me, I would have remembered that name if I've seen it in the application. But in any case, we're doing interviews next week. So it was the following week after I called and said, okay, come on in to do the interview. And I did the interview. But I happened to see a former teacher of mine who was doing the interview. And so I asked the person who was in front of me if I could go to that teacher. And she said yes, and I told her I was one of her students. Can I say this on public television?
You sure can.
She didn't remember me. But in any case, she said she had to look up into the yearbook, and she found me. And anyways, I got in. I did the interview, and I got in. And so that was it. And I did the nursing for over 20 years. And I needed a break. Thank
Yes.
you. And that's how I got into the nursing.
Okay. And then when did the mobile service Now this is very, very, what's the word? It's very precise. It's for diabetic feet.
Foot
Okay.
care. Or
Foot care.
regular. You don't have to have diabetes for me to come into your home. So how that happened was I wanted to take a break, just to change, make some changes, simple changes. And I decided, I told a friend of mine that I think now that I resigned from work, from the typical hospital mental health care, I think I would do foot care, because I've always liked doing that for some reason. And so I told my friend, and thanks to my friend, Brenda, she gave me the money to pay for my foot care. You know, and I did the course, and I decided to register the business and go to people's home. And that's how I did,
Okay.
you know, the mobile foot care.
Okay. And that's been going on for how long now?
I think it was before COVID, so we all could remember that. About maybe 4 years,
Okay.
4 years
Yeah.
now, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So now, what inspired you to write this book?
Wow. Don't make me cry. I woke up one morning. It was a Monday morning, to be specific.
Can I hold the
Yeah.
book?
It's actually not
Yep.
that one,
Okay.
but this was
Similar.
a gift with my, the
But this is what
written.
the cover looks like.
This
yeah.
is what the cover is
Yeah.
going to look like, but this was like a gift for me too. But anyways, I woke up one morning about 2 a.m. in the morning, and I heard a whisper. I heard a whisper in my ear saying, write a poem to your dad. And because I have a relationship with God, I knew it was him. And I said, God, what do you mean write a poem to my dad? I can't write poem. I don't read poem. So I can't do that. So I turned to God and I said, you see these hands? You gave me a gift of cooking. So why don't you tell me a recipe that nobody has? This is exactly what I said to him.
That's very clever, yeah.
I said that to him, for true. And of course he's not responding to me, but I'm talking. And I said, just give me a recipe to cook, because I can't write a poem. And that was it. 8 days after my dad died. So I knew God was telling me something. So he died 8 days after. And I still didn't write the poem. So 13 days after, they were making arrangement for, the ceremony. And I went back to God after I did a quick catering for someone. I just felt this urgency for him to just take his food and go. And I wanted to reach out to God this particular morning, which was June the 5th. And I said, God, I want to thank you for this day. And I want to ask for forgiveness for being disobedient. These are my words to God that morning. So I didn't write the poem that you asked me to, but I said to him, it was your poem. And I said to him, you asked me to write a poem. So I need your help, because I can't write a poem. I've never done it. And he said, I said, and I thank you in advance. And I started to cry, and I held my belly. It just felt so weird. And then I said, oh God, oh my God. Oh God, oh my God. And then what came out of my mouth was just beyond miracle. He says, oh Dad, oh my Dad. That's what God said to me. And I said, oh God, you just gave me the topic of my dad's poem. And I ran upstairs like a child and started to write with my index finger with a pain in my wrist, carpal tunnel syndrome, I think it was, and my iPhone. And I began to write. And let me tell you something, people. God flooded. Remember, I asked him to help me. And he flooded my thoughts with my own childhood. And I wrote the poem to my dad. Oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. And it's in the book, which is about to be published next month.
Amazing. Give God all the glory.
I did.
God is so good. Can you share something? Can you share something from the book? A poem,
Yeah.
please?
Oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. Why couldn't you stay just a bit longer? Oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. I don't want to be selfish, so I will start over and say, oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. Because after all, you will ask, what about the rest of your girls and your boys? Because selfless is who you are. Oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. Can we just sit down and talk? Because after all, that's the kind of listener you are. Oh, Dad. Oh, my dad. When I had a cold and you would come home, Mom would hand you the jar of Vicks VapoRub, and you would know just what to do. Open it, you would. Stick your fingers in and reach over to the top of the lamp that was lit and warm the concoction you did over the shade that says home sweet home. And that's what home really meant because of you, Mom and Dad. Dad, my dad, with your big hands you would rub until I was able to breathe again. You know how that is. What a gentle giant you are. As I grew a little older, I would hear whispers of my mom's sisters talking about how your older son, Clive, would scull school, hanging out at the corner with the older boys at the corner of the bed shop, the bed repair shop, at the corner of Jonestown. Mom waited till you get home just to keep you informed, as you were the sole breadwinner for us all. Mom started to tell how your son was caught sculling school around school, hanging out at the bed shop in Trenchtown. What you gonna do about it? This is what you say. This is what you replied. May I watch him through one eye? Oh, Dad, my dad. Mom never forgot until this day. Oh, Dad, my dad. What a wise guy you are.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's just so beautiful. And I can't wait to get a copy, a signed copy of the book. And it's coming out in a few weeks.
Yes.
And where can we anticipate to purchase the book?
You can get the book.
We're going to...
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Amazon, Ryan. My son is very good with helping me about the social media thing. Amazon and Indigo.
Yes, thumbs up. It's Indigo.
Yeah,
Okay.
and call me up. I could tell you after.
Sure. What's your number? Are we?
647-234-4340.
Okay.
That's 647-234-4340.
All right. You're a very beautiful woman, so the show is not responsible for the flood of calls coming in from male suitors. We're not responsible.
Thank you.
But I just want to thank you so much just for being you. And I want to thank you. I know you've got a wonderful catering business, and you left us a cake. Thank you.
Yes.
And it was so weighty. So I know it's a good cake. It was heavy.
I bake it today, ladies, to get off some stress. Yeah,
Awesome.
it
Thank
has
you so much.
pineapple and stuff. That's why it's dense.
It's dense.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get into that. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Margarita.
Thank you.
A pleasure. Come back
Thank you.
anytime.
I
Margarita
will.
Phipps, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Nikki Clarke Show Live.